The most powerful woman in British newspapers, Rebekah Brooks, or at least she was till she quit from Rupert Murdoch's News International on Friday, and today she was arrested on suspicion of involvement in phone hacking and corruption. She started to face a barrage of criticism 13 days ago when allegations were made that the News of the World instigated the hacking of the mobile phone of the murdered schoolgirl Millie Dowler when Mrs Brooks was editor of the now defunct Sunday tabloid. Here's the lawyer for the Dowler family.
The arrest is so important. It's the first time we've seen someone at real management director level that there are no holds barred. This is now going to be a full investigation going to the very top of the company.
Mrs Brooks is the 10th person to have been arrested in relation to allegations that the News of the World instigated phone hacking and bribery of the police. On July the 8th, Clive Goodman, the paper's former royal editor, was arrested on suspicion of involvement in making illegal payments to the police. The same day, Andy Coulson, the former editor of the News of the World, and till January, David Cameron's communications director at 10 Downing Street, was arrested on suspicion of involvement in corruption and phone hacking. On July the 14th, his deputy, Neil Wallace, who went on to be a PR advisor to the police, was also arrested. And then today came the arrest of Mrs Brooks. Those arrested would have been struck by how Sir Paul Stevenson, in his resignation statement, described his past inadequate knowledge of what happened at the News of the World.
I had no knowledge of the extent of this disgraceful practice, or indeed to the extent of it, and the repugnant nature of the selection of victims that is now emerging, nor of its apparent reach into senior levels. I saw senior figures from News International providing evidence that the misbehaviour was confined to a rogue few and not known about at the top.
Rebekah Brooks had a strikingly close relationship with Rupert Murdoch, the chairman and creator of the global media empire that owns News International. Last week, he said protecting her was his priority. On Tuesday, Rupert Murdoch, his son James Murdoch, Mrs Brooks's boss till Friday, and Mrs Brooks are all supposed to give evidence to MPs on the Culture, Media and Sport Committee. Now that she's been arrested, she may be constrained in what she can say.
The concern is that this is just a little bit convenient, and it might mean that Rebekah Brooks and the Murdochs are able to evade any questioning on Tuesday in committee. I don't think that will wash. I don't think it'll work.
Few in the media were as friendly as Mrs Brooks with the most powerful in the land, and they may be a bit relieved if in the end she can't give very public evidence to MPs on Tuesday. As for Rupert and James Murdoch, for them Mrs Brooks was something of a human shield. With her arrest, and in spite of her claims she knew nothing of the alleged systematic malpractices at the News of the World, the pressure on them to explain precisely what they knew and when will only intensify